What's good, Raider Nation? Wow, man, what a freaking game. Oh my god. I could not tell you guys how pissed off I was at a certain point. I mean, throughout like the third and fourth quarter, we kind of let the Jets stay in the game. And, this game, I had like two or three heart attacks, man. That's how freaking crazy this game was. But Henry freaking Ruggs, man, and Derek Carr. Let's talk about this, man. Let's talk about There's so much to talk about. First and foremost, the Raiders won 31-28, and this game was not freaking pretty at all, man. Like, oh, I was super stressed out. First and foremost, Derek Carr, man. Like, in my opinion, at times he played like shit this game, right? At certain times, the Raiders were up 24-13 in the third quarter after the first drive. Right, we went right downfield and we scored a touchdown. And up until the very last drive, we didn't do anything the rest of the game. And we had, I think, four different possessions. And one, Ruggs fumbled the ball. A couple of times we ended up punting the ball away. And we let this Jets team stay within distance of getting back into it and winning the game. And honestly, it's crazy, man. Okay, first and foremost, go and like this video. Make sure that thumbs up button. It does help this video so other people can see that we are live and we're getting into this and we're talking about it. First and foremost, that Ruggs fumble killed us, man. Like, it flat out killed us because the Jets got the ball, I think, around the 44-yard line. They went right downfield and they scored a touchdown. And at that point, it looked really, really, really bad for this team. Like, we were losing, right? Like, we were losing, and we had the ball. I think we had like 5 minutes left to still go downfield and do something, which we did, right? Like, we went all the way downfield, and we ended up scoring. But as you guys know, it got called back, right? And it was honestly, it was a hold on Gabe Jackson, 100%. Like, as soon as he threw it, I saw the hold live. I saw Gabe Jackson hold. I think it was Quinnen Williams. And I knew right away this is coming back. Luckily, the defense also had a hold. I didn't see that. They didn't show the replay on that. Not that it mattered, right? That we threw it to Nelson Aguilar on the next play was incomplete. And at that point, Twitter was going crazy, which is crazy because so many people were saying things like, let's move on from DC. He sucks, this, that. The offense sucks. They're not doing anything. We lost. I can't believe we lost to the Jets. And then people, believe it or not, were already saying, like, this game's over, even though we had 2 timeouts left. Like, the game was not over, technically, right? And I did this last week where, like, in my head, I kept calculating that, okay, you know what, the Jets or the Falcons are kicking our ass, but we're still in the game, technically, right? It's a 24-point game, so we're still in the game. I kept doing that, right? And it didn't matter because we ended up getting our asses kicked anyways. I did the same thing this game, man. I was like, hey, we're still in the game. And if you guys follow me and live tweet with me during the game on Twitter, you guys know that I tweeted out there. I said, this game is not over yet. We still have a shot. And we stopped them, man. And we ended up winning, man. Like, Henry freaking Ruggs caught that deep pass. Even the play right before it, man. Nelson Aguilar was wide open. And here's the thing, man. This Jets team, the coaching specifically the guy's an idiot. Like, he's a great defensive coach at times, but to run that defense when there are like 30 seconds left or so, to run that at that exact moment where you're going to blitz all these guys and leave your corner, Lamar Jackson, I think is a second-year corner, you're going to leave him one-on-one with Henry Ruggs. That too, he's like an undrafted guy, so it's not like the guy is super, super talented. To leave him one-on-one with Henry Ruggs, who has speed, that too, like, what is the corner doing, right? Well, Ruggs was able to get behind him and score, right? And it really pumped me up, man. And I see that there are some issues, again, with the stream. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I'm going to just talk, though. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get this fixed here. I'm going to just jump right back into this. If the video does not work, I know the audio will work. So I'm going to just go through it and we'll kind of just get right into it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I want to get into a little bit about the players specifically. Cleveland Farrell, man, he had 2 sacks and 2 fumbles. And I think that was a huge part of how the Raiders were able to win, right? Like, even though we only got a couple of points out of that, because of those specific plays, we were able to stop the Jets, right? And it's kind of like a drive killer when you're able to do that. All right, I'm not sure if it's still freezing. I hope not. But if it is, again, I am sorry. I don't know what the hell is going on, man. It's really, really unfortunate because here where I live in San Francisco. I have like the fastest internet you can possibly have, and I have it connected directly via Ethernet. So I'm not sure, but it looks like it should be working. Hopefully it works. Again, I do apologize, but I think the audio comes in fine. But I do want to give you guys some players of the game that balled out. I just touched on it a little bit. Clelin Ferrell, 2 sacks and 2 fumbles. If Clelin Ferrell plays like the way he played today, the guy is going to be worth it, right? Like the 4th overall pick. A lot of people are saying it might not be worth it. But the way he's been playing, man, it's impressive. But more than just the sacks and the fumbles, he's had 3 quarterback hits. Today, he had 2 tackles for a loss. It's crazy because, Quinnen Williams was another player that a lot of people kind of wrote off. Keep in mind, Quinnen Williams was taken right before Clelin Ferrell. So Quinnen Williams was the 3rd pick and Ferrell was the 4th pick. Both guys are kind of written off. And obviously Quinnen Williams has had a much better he's had a much better season so far, right? Cleveland just got his first 2 sacks of the season, but they could not have came at a better time. Like, flat out, they came at the time where we needed, right? I think on the first one, the Jets were driving downfield. And then Clelin Ferrell obviously sacked Sam Darnold. And I think we only got 3 points out of that first fumble. And the second fumble, even though we didn't get any points out of it because it was right before halftime, the fumble still stopped the Jets from scoring, right? So if you think about that, right, we won by three points, 31-28. So if either of those 2 possessions where Ferrell forced fumbles, if the Jets were able to go downfield and score any points, even 3 points, the Ruggs touchdown would have just tied the game, right? Like, that play, I mean, it was a great play. Like, flat out from the offensive perspective, it was a great play. But another player that deserves some credit, 2 players specifically, Darren Waller, man, what a freaking beast. I feel like, and correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. I personally feel that when the Raiders throw the ball, like get in shotgun and throw the ball, our offense just seems better, right? Keep in mind, right, like in the first half, we threw the ball like crazy, and we scored, I think, 17 points in the first half. And then the first drive, we ran a little bit, but we threw and we scored a touchdown. But after that, we kept trying to run the ball, and we did absolutely nothing until the last 2 drives, right? Like, after we scored the first touchdown in the 3rd quarter, up until the very last and second to last drive, we didn't do anything. And I feel like part of that was because of the fact that we were trying to basically run the ball, right? And I feel like when Derek Carr gets in shotgun, he's a better quarterback, right? And I personally feel like that. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think Derek Carr is better when you let him air it out? I personally feel like he is, but I want to know what you guys think. But Derek freaking Carr, man, 28 of 47, 381 yards, and 3 freaking touchdowns. Yeah, he had an interception, but, Ruggs had his hands on the ball. He should have caught the pass. It was a little bit high, but, a professional wide receiver, you got to make that catch. 381 yards, man. That's crazy. It's honestly crazy. Darren Waller, 13 catches, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In my opinion, I think Darren Waller was the difference in this game. And what I mean by that is, you look at the times where we threw him the ball and we got penalties and we got first downs, right? And even then, like, look at what he was able to do. Like, I'm not sure why the Jets didn't adjust their game plan and their defense. Like, they kept blitzing, and they just left man-to-man coverage on everyone. And, like, Nelson Aguilar was able to beat his guy. Hunter Renfrow was able to beat his guy. And then at the same time, Darren Waller was just killing those guys, man. The rookie safety from Cal, Ashton Davis, had no way to cover Waller. And then they even tried switching it up. I think Davis got hurt. But hey, man, it is what it is, right? You can't stop Darren Waller. You got to double team him. Mullen had an interception, and I think that interception was also a big play because we scored a touchdown on that Mullen interception. It's crazy, man. Like, I'm pumped up, man. Like, you guys should be really pumped up too. And I do want to touch on this a little bit. Some of you guys have mentioned in the comments here, as well as on my Twitter. I've been reading the comments. Some of you guys have mentioned, like, it's embarrassing that you barely beat an 0-11 Jets team. Like, you have to get lucky on the last play of the game. And I do understand what people are saying, but you got to keep in mind, right? The Raiders are down one of their best offensive playmakers in Josh Jacobs. At the same time, we were down one of our best defense players in Jonathan Abram. And then you look at the fact that our starting corner got a concussion, didn't come back in, right, with Arnett. And it makes a difference. It 100% makes a difference when you start losing these players. Trent Brown was out, right? I'm not 100% sure, but I think Brandon Parker started the game, and then at some point he came out, and Sam Young ended up coming in and playing right tackle. I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but at a certain point, I saw Sam Young coming from the sidelines coming into the game. So, there's so many different changes that happened throughout this game, and, at the end of the day, like, we still got this win, right? And that's all that matters, right? Right now, the Raiders are 7-5, and we control our destiny. Flat out, if the Raiders win the rest of their games, and they're all winnable, right? You got the Dolphins, the Chargers, the Colts, the Broncos. These games are 100% winnable. If you win the rest of these games, you're in the playoffs, right? Because we're playing the Colts and we're playing the Dolphins. So you have a chance to get in there and make the playoffs. You just got to win the rest of your games. So there's absolutely no excuses. If the Raiders want to make the playoffs, if the Raiders want to contend for a Super Bowl, they have to win. We did give up 28 points on defense, and it wasn't pretty, right? Especially trying to stop the run. The Jets ran for 206 yards against the Raiders defense, averaging over 6 yards a carry, and it's bad. Like, that's really, really bad, right? You guys know it, and I know it. Giving up that many yards through the ground, you're not going to win a whole lot of games. But we were also down Malik Collins, right? Multiple times I saw Mo Hurst in the game, and he was being pushed back, and they were able to just bust right through Johnson and Adams, right? I think Collins obviously has that impact of help stopping the run. Vic Beasley played as well. I'm going to go back and watch the film. I'm going to do a film study for you guys, and we'll watch every single one of his plays. We'll kind of see how he played. Again, I see the comments, right? The Jets are a bad team, and you barely beat them. But we're down players, all right? You have to keep that in mind. And the Jets are not as bad as their record states, in my opinion, anyways. With that being stated, man, like, we got to keep this going. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. If you want to be a Super Bowl team or even a playoff team, you have to pull these types of wins out, right? And again, some people are going to say it's lucky. Like, you threw a Hail Mary pass, right? Like, on one of the last plays of the game. That's not necessarily the only way how we would have potentially won, right? Like, what if we just drove downfield from the second to last possession? And what if we just scored on that drive, right? I mean, that's what good teams do, right? They score points when you have 5 minutes left or 40 seconds left. You go downfield and you score, right? Patrick Mahomes did it against the Raiders. Again, that's what good teams do. You drive downfield and you win the game. You win the game when it really matters. And that's what the Raiders did, man. You won the game when it mattered. Again, we got the ball, I think, around the 35-yard line on the very last possession. On the first play, we hit Waller, I think 18-ish yards, or maybe it was 15 yards. We get up there and we spike the ball, and I think at that point there was about 20 seconds left. 50 yards, 20 seconds, it's possible, right? And it's not always lucky, right? Like, you draw up certain plays, you draw up certain routes, and your players just have to win, right? Your receivers have to win. And that Derek Carr pass, right, the first one that went deep to Aguilar was wide freaking open. And there was a pass even before, I think on the second to last drive, where Aguilar was wide open, and I think DC under threw the pass, right? DC needs to throw better deep passes, man. Like, I talked about it a little bit with in a video I made for the premium members that I put on the videos I put out for the channel here. In that video, I stated that DC needs to get better throwing the ball deep. And don't look at these statistics like Pro Football Focus and say, oh, well, they're saying DC is the best deep passer, right? Because Pro Football Focus is saying that any pass is 20 yards or more that Derek Carr is great at. That means Derek Carr is a great thrower when it comes to throwing a pass 21 yards or 24 yards. And he is. He's a great thrower. I think anywhere under 30 yards, DC's probably the best passer that the Raiders have had ever, maybe, right? But when it comes to 40-plus yard throws, like I watched a highlight of Matthew Stafford throwing the ball from the 45-yard line, right? Throwing it 55 yards for a touchdown to one of his wide receivers. And it was a beautifully placed ball, like in the corner of the end zone. I want to see DC make those type of passes where like his receiver catches it in stride, or it's like at the perfect spot, 50-plus yards downfield, or even 40-plus yards downfield, right? I want to see DC make those passes. And I think he can, right? He's shown in the past that he can. I don't know exactly why he's not able to do it right now, but I think he will get there. Overall, DC still had a pretty good game, right? 381 yards, 3 touchdowns. I know there was a point in this game from after the first touchdown in the second half up until the second to last drive. I think those 3 drives in between that time frame where we didn't do anything on offense, right? But overall, we got the freaking W, man, and that's all that matters. It's crazy because typically when I make these videos, I have notes right here off screen. You guys can't see it, but I have notes, and I was so amped up. I was like, I'm not writing notes down here, man. I'm gonna just go into it, and I'm gonna just start making this video. So I apologize if the the way the video flows is not the greatest, right? Usually I'll have like 3 topics, and I'll do topic 1, topic 2, and then topic 3. But I didn't want to do that this video because I was pumped up. I'm still excited, man. I'm really excited to go back and rewatch this game. Especially that like last play. Like I haven't even watched the Ruggs touchdown. Like I watched it live and I kind of saw what happened, but like I haven't went back and rewatched it. Usually I would have watched a play like that like 10 times, right? But I really wanted to get out there and get live with you guys, man. I'm gonna go through some questions. So if you guys have questions, put them in the comments below. I'm gonna go through some of these questions, man, because a lot of you guys ask so many great questions and I never really go into them. So I'm going to actually go through the Super Chats first. So I really appreciate the Super Chats. I see 2 with questions, and I think 1 did not have a question. 1 came from NYNTY5. He said, of course he is, ask Musgrave. And what he's talking about is when I talked about the fact that Derek Carr is a better quarterback when he's out in shotgun, when he can spread the ball out. I think he's a better quarterback, and obviously you're with NYNTY5, he agrees, right? And what he's talking about is when we had Bill Musgrave as our offensive coach in 2016, DC was throwing the ball like crazy, and he had his best season, right? Like that year had his best NFL season, and it's because he was throwing the ball. And again, I 100% agree. I think DC in shotgun is a much different quarterback than when you're doing like a 3-yard throw, a 2-yard throw, like in the typical John Gruden offense, right? Obviously, we're still in the John Gruden offense today, but the game plan was different. Like we threw the ball, like DC threw the ball 48 times or 47 times, right? He actually attempted a pass, and he probably dropped back like closer to 55 times. Think about that. Like I'm sure 47 pass attempts was probably his most this season. Someone can look that stat up and tell me if I'm incorrect. But, 47 pass attempts, 31 points, and I think we left a lot out there. Honestly, I feel like we left a lot out there. I think after we scored that first half touchdown, had the Raiders not or the second half touchdown, the first touchdown in the second half, had we continued throwing the ball, I think we would have scored close to 45 points. Another super chat by Sean Hittenberger. He said, just win, baby. Win's a win. Thanks for the stream, Sanji MVP. Thank you. First and foremost, thank you for the super chat. Super chats really help me, so I really appreciate both of the super chats. Another one came in. I'm going to look at that one as well. But a win's a win, man. You're 100% correct. Any win, it could be a win by 1 point. It could be a win by 50 points. It makes no difference. A win's a win, right? Great win, man. Great freaking win. I'm going to look at this second super chat. D the Sun said Raiders. And yeah, hell yeah, man. I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up. I think if the Raiders can continue to play the way they played today, where they're throwing the ball more, they get their offensive weapons back, their defensive weapons back, I think we can be a much better team. Get Darren Waller 20 targets, right? I don't know if that's what he got. He probably got close to 20 targets this game, and see what he can do, right? Let's get into a couple more of these here. Who should we draft and sign in free agency? Comes from Andy Lay, Lai. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrect. Who should we draft and sign in free agency? Draft's a little bit different, right? We got to look at some of the players that are going to end up leaving this team that we know we won't be able to re-sign, right? For example, Trent Brown, we might not bring him back, and I don't know if Brandon Parker's the answer, so you might want to draft another offensive tackle. Other than that, I think we're fine on the O-line. I think maybe another wide receiver could take this offense to the next step, or another playmaker. It could come from the running back position. It could come from the wide receiver position. It can come from the tight end position. I think we need another playmaker. We need a safety. We need a linebacker. Absolutely need those two positions. Let's go through a couple more of these. I think another super chat came in here, so let's look at that one. Johnny Perez, thank you, man, for the super chat. This is what happens when you're too one-dimensional, have to throw too close out a game. You let the other team stick around. And that is 100% true, right? In this game specifically, you're right. We were very one-dimensional, right? Especially at a certain point in the game. I like when DC throws the ball, right? I hate when it's like I hate when it's 1st and 10 and like it's an incomplete pass. And then on second down, we run the ball and we get 1 yard. And now it's like 3rd and 9, right? Like I hate when that happens, and that happens, right? And it kind of sucks, right? But it does happen, right? Where the Raiders do sometimes get one-dimensional. In this game, we did throw the ball a lot, like we absolutely did. But we kind of knew that coming into the game. The Jets' offensive or defensive front is one of the best defensive fronts in the NFL, right? Especially run stopping. Like the Raiders had 72 yards, and they averaged 2.9 yards per carry. Like it's pretty bad if you ask me, right? Yeah, so we definitely need to continue, running the ball. We definitely need Josh Jacobs back. Hopefully he's healthy. We're very fortunate that we got this win, but we still got the win, and that's all that matters. Abnab Kayolamadi, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He's a premium member. He said, do we need to focus on interior D-line or edge for pass rush? And this is going to be the last question I'm going to take unless the super chat comes in. But do we need to focus on the interior D-line or edge for pass rush? And I think we need to focus in on the interior D-line. And this is what I mean by that. Mo Hurst is a good pass rusher, right? We all know that. All Raider fans 100% know Mo Hurst is a great pass rusher. At the same time, we all know that Jonathan Hankins is a great run stopper. But those guys can't do both things, right? Hankins can't rush the passer, and Hurst can't stop the run. Like, that's just a fact, right? They're great. Like, Mo Hurst might be a top 10 pass rushing D tackle. Jonathan Hankins might be a top 10 run stopping defense tackle. But when it comes to the opposite, those guys both suck at the other thing. Jonathan Hankins can't pass rush. Hurst can't run stop. And I think the Raiders need to 100% put the money. And if it's via free agency, if it's via draft, they need to get an interior defensive lineman. We thought Malik Collins was going to be the guy. And to be fair, 100% fair, the last 2 weeks, he did play very well, right, against the Chiefs and the Falcons. Malik Collins played very, very well getting after the quarterback. I don't have the 100%. I don't have the exact statistics, but Malik Collins has been playing so much better from the inside, and I'm okay with him, because he's also good against the run. But when it comes to Jonathan Hankins, I love his run support, but he's more of just a first down, maybe depending on if it's second and short or second and long. He's really a 1 or 2 down guy. He's not a 3 down guy. That is why we put Cleveland Farrell on the inside and on pass rushing situations, and we put Key on the outside, right? It's because of the fact that Hankins is not a good pass rusher. Could you guys imagine if we had Quinnen Williams as our defensive tackle? He's a 3 down player, and he gets after the quarterback. And that's what we need. We need a defensive lineman that can get after the quarterback. Now, let's say the Raiders get the 20th pick this year in the draft, right? Is there going to be a defensive tackle who can rush the passer? I don't know. It's very, very hard to get a D tackle that can rush the passer and stop the run. Like, there's not a whole lot of good interior defense tackles that can do everything, right? Aaron Donald, maybe Fletcher Cox. There's probably a couple other guys. Quinnen Williams probably comes up there. And a couple other players. They're very good at both. But other than that, there's a lot of like, one guy's good at one thing, one guy's good at the other, and then just average defensive linemen. But we need to shore up the inside of this line, of the D line. Another super chat came in from Enamel Red. Thank you for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it, like, a lot. He said, Sanjit, long-time watcher. Let's go, Raiders. Talk about the punt game, son. AJ Cole, on fire. I could not be more happy with AJ Cole. And even Daniel Carlson. He's been a good kicker. But AJ Cole, man, you guys look back at this game and think about the punts. How many times he punted the ball within the 10-yard line? And there was one that went down to the 1. And I don't know if it was Keyshawn Nixon or whoever the gunner was out there, wasn't able to get to the ball quick enough. Or he was standing in the end zone when he touched the ball. AJ Cole, man, you can give him a game ball for the way he's been punting. And it's not just today. Even against the Falcons, technically, statistically, we're better than the Falcons, right? The only reason we lost the Falcons game was because of the 5 turnovers. But AJ Cole was pinning them back over and over and over again. And that's game changer, right? That's 100% game changer. If you have a punter who can punt from, let's say, the 45-yard line or the 35-yard line and pin a team back, it's hard to go 80, 90 yards on every single drive and get points. It's hard. It's the NFL, right? Most teams are going to get 1, 2, or 3 first downs, but if you're at the 10-yard line and you get 3 first downs, chances are you get to the 50-yard line, right? You still have 50 more yards to score. And defenses oftentimes are able to stop a team after the first, second, or third first down, right? So again, man, AJ Cole, you're 100% right. He's been a beast this season. And special teams have been pretty good for the Raiders. I love Hunter Renfrow returning punts for the Raiders because he always gets 5-10 yards on every single punt. He's shifty, makes people miss. I like some of our other guys, right, as well on special teams. And I can kind of see that the video is freezing a little bit. And I do apologize for that. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do apologize for some of the issues here with the stream. I do want to let you guys know, though, I will